Alright, what's up YouTube? Trying to live with Nick. Yeah, you know how it is. But, reason why I'm recording now is I'm going to discuss about Kingdom Hearts, basically. And why all this started. Maybe. Probably. I'm not sure. Just gotta listen. Alright, to all the Kingdom Hearts fans, I like this. If you like Kingdom Hearts, watch this. Pay attention. Close attention. Anyway, and I'm doing this video for the people that do not know what Kingdom Hearts is, or they do, or they just don't got the game for it. Seen the gameplays, but just confused. I'll summarize it. I'll just summarize it a little bit, just by a little. Some spoilers, but summarized. Alright. But first off, let me start off at Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. So the main characters is Ventus, Terra, and Aqua. It all started when it was taking the Mark of Mastery exam to be Keyblade Masters. And so they train extra hard to be masters. And so during the exam, only Aqua only became a Keyblade Master, and not Terra. The reason why Terra did become a Keyblade Master was because he had darkness inside his heart. And so Terra had left his world and traveled around other worlds to find out why, and so on and so forth. So Ventus was worried about Terra, and so he went searching for him. That doesn't scare me. And so he was searching for him. And that Ventus' dream was to also become a Keyblade Master. And that he searched for Terra. Didn't know what's wrong with him. Aqua's mission was to bring Ventus back home. Because when I first met him, he was a little unstable. Keyword unstable. And that at first there was darkness in his heart until Master Xehanort had unlocked his heart. And then there was Vanitas. And so Vanitas is Master Xehanort's pupil. In the darkness inside Ventus. Vanitas controls the unversed. The unversed is like heartless, but more experienced and adapt. Well, more experienced and stronger. And so, back to the subject. Ventus travels around the world to find Terra. And so, he travels and travels until Ventus, Terra, and Aqua meet again at Radiant Garden. And that out of nowhere, it was like a boss, unversed boss. And so they had to stop that before they get the chance to talk about something. And so when that was finished, that was trying to take Ventus back home. But Ventus doesn't. He wants to explore the world. He wants to explore the outside worlds. And not just stay in one place. Not to be locked up like a prison. He wants to experience different things. And Terra was trying to find Vanitas. But he couldn't. And so when he went to the Badlands, Master Xehanort was there. And he said that their master named Ericus was going to eliminate Ventus. And so Terra goes back to his home world and stops him. But before they even battle, when Ventus finally got back to his home world, he discovered the truth of why they wanted to keep him there in the first place. So Master Ericus had said that he was the key into forging the Keyblade. They called it Keyblade, but in the subtitles it's spelled with an X. X-Blade. Basically X-Blade. To me. So, and Erica said that it's the most powerful weapon of all Keyblades. And if it falls into the wrong hands, Master Xehanort and Ventus will bring havoc to all worlds. And it said that the Keyblade is the key into opening all worlds. And so, to make sure that the Keyblade wouldn't be forged, Master Ericus tried to eliminate Ventus. And that's when Terra showed up, fighting his own master. And the reason why he ended up fighting his own master is because Xehanort manipulated him in a way. And so, he manipulated Terra so that he could kill Master Ericus. And that he wouldn't have no other nuisances to stop him. And so he brings ruins to Ventura and Aqua's home world. called the Land of Departure. And that Terra was feeling sorry that this had happened. And so he went to the Keyblade graveyard to confront Master Xehanort before it's all too late. Ventus, before Terra and Master Ericus was battling, Terra had transported Ventus to another world so that he will be safe and protected. And then Ventus went to the Keyblade graveyard to find Terra and Aqua. Aqua, when the battle with Terra and Ericus was over, she went to, well, she didn't go to her homeland. As a matter of fact, she was at the mysterious castle, where she found King Mickey and Master Yen Sid. And Yen Sid had told Aqua that their master was struck down, and that they said Terra was the reason for all of it. And so she goes to the Keyblade graveyard, and that's where they all meet. And then Terra had told Aqua that he had killed his own master. Yet, and he said this, that he was too stupid enough. He was being manipulated. That he did what Master Xehanort said to do, and that he had that he couldn't do anything to stop it, because he didn't know that Master Xehanort had a certain dark power inside him until that very end. And so you see Ventus walk in, and then he told him that he just realized that he is the key into forging the X-Blade. And that he was asking him as a friend to just put an end to him, because he was like a part of the Keyblade, and without Ventus or Vanitas, or both of them, the Keyblade will be no more. And so you see Master Xehanort and Vanitas walk to them, and then Master Xehanort starts talking about a Keyblade war before their time. He said that all Keyblade masters was in the middle of a war, fighting to get the X-Blade, because the X-Blade had the power of light and darkness. And for those who wields it, unlocks all worlds. Those in the wrong hands, that's how it's gonna happen. In good hands, they would try to stash it somewhere. By stash it, I mean like get rid of it. Try to hide it so that no one else will find it. And so, Terra, Ventus, and Aqua fights Vanitas, Xehanort, and Braig. And so, yeah, I say and so a lot. So, get used to it. In the middle of the Keyblade battle, Master Xehanort unleashes, well, not unleashes, but summons Kingdom Hearts with the hearts of all kingdoms. And that, hold on. And that they use Kingdom Hearts for like their plan. But like in the game, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, it's like the story is like a little fractured. Like you play as either Ventus, Terra, or Aqua. When you play one of those characters, it'll be like, let's just say it's like a fractured, like fractured scenes, or like deleted scenes. But besides the point, back to the point. Like Ventus was frozen, and while Ventus was frozen, Aqua had to fight Braig. And like that battle with Aqua and Braig was just to buy some time for Xehanort, for his plan to succeed. And that Vanitas has struck down Aqua from above. Then Ventus was unfrozen, and so he had to fight Vanitas himself. And then when Ventus was off guard, the unversed had him locked down. And then Ventus realized that all the unversed had originated from him. And Vanitas said the stronger he gets, well, the stronger Vanitas gets, is basically how strong the unversed gets. And he could resummon old unversed if he wanted to. But he said it was no need. I know it's a long video, but deal with it. If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, you will risk it. So, Vanitas tells him that to be able to forge the Keyblade, you need the heart of pure light and the heart of pure darkness. Then he says that both Vanitas and Ventus are the key into forging the Keyblade. And then that's when Aqua wakes up from consciousness and sees King Mickey in the battlefield as well. And so they see Ventus standing up like sleep. Well, looking down on the floor, standing up with the X-Blade in his hand. And then Aqua and Mickey realized that Ventus was being like possessed, and that the possessed Ventus said that the Keyblade was the key into opening all worlds. And then it was going to use the X-Blade to make all worlds stay in darkness for once it has before. And so inside Ventus wakes up. Well, Ventus is fighting Vanitas from the inside. And then from the inside you see Vanitas that looks like Sora, but with black hair and with a different outfit on. And you see him with like the X-Blade looking a little fractured. And he said that the Keyblade wouldn't we'll say it like this, unless Vanitas opens his heart to it. Ventus refused, and so he tries to fight. He tries to take out the X-Blade and Vanitas. And he said he'll risk it, even though that the Keyblade was made up in his heart as well. So if the Keyblade goes, both Vanitas and Ventus goes with it. And so Ventus won in the inside of his body. in that Ventus was in permanent sleep since his heart was lost, just floating around in the air. And then he hears like a voice, but you don't actually hear a voice in the game. Like, it was like an idea, it was like a hint. He was like, so this is your heart. He was referring to Sora. I'll get to that later. Back from the possessed Ventus, Aqua defeats him, and so you see that the Keyblade up in the air shatters into pieces. Like 13 darknesses of the Keyblade was shattered. No, the Keyblade was just shattered. Okay, the Keyblade was just straight shattered, and then and that was when, at the same time when Ventus had defeated Vanitas. And so either way, Ventus was still in permanent sleep. Not dead, just sleep. Just couldn't wake up. And then Aqua goes back to their home world even though it was shattered. Aqua finds Master Ericus's Keyblade, uses that to unlock a keyhole that she found behind the exam chairs. Then she puts down Ventus on a chair in an all-white room. Then when she walks out, as you can see, she made Castle Oblivion. So Castle Oblivion is scientifically their home world, but just changed a little. And then Aqua tried to find Terra. She finds Terra in Radiant Garden, a different world. She sees Terra with white hair. And then she knew something was wrong. She was trying to convince Terra to go back with them. But Terra was already consumed. The reason why Terra, actually they call him, on YouTube they call him Terranoid, because back when it was at the Keyblade Graveyard, Terra was fighting Xehanort. And so Xehanort had fought Terra, but was defeated in strength in battle. But in heart, Xehanort won. And he had opened his heart, and his heart went straight to Terra. And then Terra had no control of his body anymore, so... And then Xehanort had full control of his body and the darkness inside him, and tries to get away from the Keyblade Graveyard to continue his master plan. But then Terra's spirit had put like a barrier around them, around their environment, so that he won't escape. And so you play as his lingering spirit, as Terra's spirit, and win. And then when Terra's spirit knows that his job is done, he vanishes. But then Terranort probably escaped and left. And then that's when Terranort starts fighting Aqua. And then when Aqua defeats Terranort, there's like a black abyss on the floor, and that Terranort falls down in it. You know what, Skip? I'm just gonna call him Xehanort. Xehanort created a black abyss on the floor when he was unconscious. And then he starts drowning in it. Aqua tries to save him, and she did. But then she said that it wasn't gonna. It was gonna start closing. It will start closing slowly. So Aqua had to think fast. She knew that both of them couldn't make it out of there, or make it back out of there. So Aqua sacrificed herself, and got Terra out of the Black Abyss, but Aqua was to leave behind. So she couldn't she couldn't be there with Ventus. And so that's how that happened. And then you see Ansem the Wise and Brig and Guardians of Radiant Garden. So Ansem the Wise finds Xehanort and then takes him to his castle. And that's when Xehanort ended up as a scientist. So yeah, hold on, just a second. I just had to charge my phone and I had to switch the lights. But and so that was the end of Birth by Sleep. And this is where Kingdom Hearts 1 shows up. But before that, Xehanort, I think, gained his memory, and that he was in like a laboratory researching about hearts from different worlds, because he was still thinking about the X-Blade. And this is almost where it's about is almost about how of why there's stuff like this. But I'll tell you now. It's like Xehanort was researching on hearts from different worlds. And he tried to take it even further, which cost him his life. Then before his life was taken, he had created beings without hearts. So he called them heartless. And so when his experiment failed, he had become a heartless, and then the darkness had even more darkness consumed his body. And then Xehanort changed his name to Ansem. And then he found out that Riku had potential of darkness inside him, so he wanted an even newer vessel. Like Terra wasn't enough. But like, look, here's what Kingdom Hearts is really about. Not really about, but here's why Xehanort is planning to get the Keyblade back. Like in Kingdom Hearts 1, he needed 7 pure hearts of light, which was 7 princesses. And then his nobody, Xemnas, formed Organization 13. Which would be basically, they said they needed 7 pure lights of light and 13 darknesses to reforge the Keyblade again. And so the reason why there was a 13th member was because Sora had unlocked his heart. He unlocked his heart with the Keyblade to be able to find the keyhole. And Hollow Bastion is Radiant Garden, but then it was reformed into the world of the Heartless. And now, Sora had turned into a Heartless, but then he was brought back by Kairi, which was one of the 7 princesses of Heart. But then and that's why there's a 13th member, which was Roxas. And the reason why Roxas looked just like Ventus was because Ventus was sleeping inside Sora's heart. And when Sora's heart has been opened, there was a nobody. And then that nobody formed into a member of the organization. That nobody formed into Phineas's body, but switched the name. The reason why Roxas got his name, the reason why Roxas got the name Roxas in the first place was, well, basically because he was half of Sora, and that they put Sora's name in, and then they scrambled up Sora's scrambled up the letters in Sora's name, and then put an X right in it, and then spelled Roxas. And in Kingdom Hearts 358/2 Days, there was a 14th member, and that wasn't Xehanort's plan. He wanted 13 darknesses, and so Saïx was trying to figure out a way to eliminate Xion, which was half of Roxas and half of Sora. And in that game, they said that something's wrong with Sora when he was asleep, that his memories was being scrambled because it was a newer member. She had Sora's memories and the image of Kairi. And so Roxas eliminates Xion, but then from days by day, he wants to know why he has the Keyblade. He wants to know who Sora is. Roxas wants to know who Sora is. Roxas wants to know the truth. Roxas had left Castle Oblivion to find the truth. Roxas wants to know how he has the Keyblade in the first place. And so then when Roxas tries to leave Castle Oblivion, Saïx tries to stop him. And then Roxas gets past him and then leaves Castle Oblivion. And then days on, he goes back to Castle Oblivion to stop the organization in their plans. But the Heartless got in the way, and Riku. And so when Riku had took Roxas to Twilight Town, they put him in a simulator, which is the fake version of Twilight Town, and for him to stay there until the time Sora regains his memories. And that's when Kingdom Hearts 2 comes in. You first play as Roxas in the beginning of the game, since Sora's memories was still lacking. So you play as Roxas. His fake friends is Hayner, Pence, and Olette. they got like a few days left of their summer vacation. And so they try to make the most of it. Like trying to go to the beach or something. Like, first they had to get, like, summer jobs to earn the money. And, like, when they had enough money, they would try to go to the beach. But then Riku showed up out of nowhere. He had said he had tripped. Well, he had threw a stick at Roxas, and Roxas fell. Riku picked him up. He was wearing a black coat with a hood on. His face was shaded in it, and he said, "Do you feel Sora?" And he was like, "Can you feel Sora?" Roxas was like, "Huh?" But then when he turned around, one of his friends was trying to see what's going on. He turned right back around. He was gone. And so when Roxas gets to that train station, try to go to the beach, but Roxas goes in his pockets to see what, and then figures out that his money was missing, which is bogus. Well, let's get on to the real situation. And so, you see, Roxas is in like a fighting tournament, and then time just freeze, except